The Rays back doing Rays things. And we were doing this last week, Dan, before you came back. It's good to have you back in your winter residency. Last week we were talking about the Rays. Ken Rosenthal had it in his column in The Athletic that they had a kind of a slight wrinkle, a new design in what they were going to do in trying to get pitchers to do that 80 to 100 innings and get a whole flying squad of them. They signed Colin McHugh. He's with the Astros. They signed Rich Hill. He's age 41 season, but coming off a very good year with the Twins. So picking up McHugh, Hill, if it was the old days, you wouldn't be overwhelmed. But if you pick up 8 to 10 guys like that, maybe Chris Archer's one of them, what are your thoughts on that plan?
BK, I think it's a brilliant plan. No shocking for the Rays. And I think they can do this because if you look at the rankings of their bullpen right now, they should have top 3 or 4 bullpen in the game again, which then becomes their anchor to be able to utilize their starting pitchers to their best of their ability. I'm going on record today saying I think there's going to be 12 guys that will start for them during the course of the 2021 season and range between 25 innings and 150 innings to get to that 700-800 inning mark that they'll have to get to be able to protect their bullpen and make it truly effective. But there's no team in the game that maximizes its talent better than the Rays. And I will say that Fleming or Patino or McClanahan, any of those guys could pop into a significant piece for him. And then we don't even have Brendan McKay up there. He had shoulder surgery. But I do believe he'll get some starts for them as they go through the second half of the season.
The only issue I have with them, Dan, when I look at that graphic again, there are a lot of question marks on all of those pitchers health-related. You're not sure what you're going to get. I think it's easier said than done to say, okay, we're going to pencil them in for between 80 and 100 innings. Well, those guys have had a difficult time getting to 80 and 100 innings, and it starts with Tyler Glass now. Now, this guy has one of the best arms in the game of baseball, but we've yet to see Tyler. But then you could go back and say Blake Snell was never a 200 innings guy, a guy that was going to eat up innings either. But there are question marks because a lot of guys that were on that graphic, there's some concerns with their health. Well,
BK, and you know, though, I mean, Danny, starting pitching is expensive. So they're taking the limited amount of money that they have and employ it in a way that is the Rays' way to do business, is to be able to take Rich Hill and say, okay, if you can only give me 75 innings, we're going to make those best 75 innings as possible, and it's going to help us win in the long run. And there's no one like Kevin Cash that manipulates his roster in the way that puts the players in the best position to be successful.
And Dan, you're describing a paradigm shift. As you're saying it, it hit me. Rich Hill was that guy for the Dodgers. And not that long ago it was, okay, Rich Hill's not going to give you a great 200 innings, but he can give you a good 150 innings. Are we at the point where it's like, can you give us, and then that number is whatever that number is?
Correct.
And for any player like Hill, like age 41 season, but maybe that's 60 innings, starting, but excellent innings. Like you just want the excellent, you want the cream off the top from all these guys.
And that's when you have the #1 ranked farm system in the game. Again, it gets back to young talent. They have the ability to not even overexpose some of their younger players and get them innings this year because Rich Hill and Waka and McHugh and Archer may not give them a ton of innings, but it'll give those other guys exposure in the hope that one of them pops and becomes now the next Snell or the next Morton for them.
Let me ask you this, Dan. Can the Rays get away with this? Would the Yankees be able to proceed this way? Would the Dodgers, the Cubs, would a big market team be able to go in and say, okay, we're going to bring in like 7 or 8 guys, and if they can give us 75 to 80 innings, that's what we're going to try to get?
Yeah, I don't know if you have to, though, in a larger market situation. I think the Rays maybe wouldn't do this if they were in a large market situation. I think it's an invention based upon the situation they're in. But, yeah, I think it can work anywhere. And we'll get into the Red Sox later on. But I think they're trying to become a little bit of the model that the Rays are. In a perfect world, Danny, you run out 3 impactful starting pitchers, and then you have the Rays model for the next 2 spots in your rotation with a deep, talented bullpen.
I know what you're saying, though. If you try this, if you're Brian Cashman or Chaim Bloom in the next couple of years, and you try this and it blows up, wow, that's bad. Because you didn't have to. I always wonder, when I wrote my stuff about bullpenning, I thought, where are the losing teams? I understand the big guys. If you're winning, fine, just keep going. But what are the losing teams doing in trying this stuff? Actually, you tried it. You weren't losing at the time, but you were,
I tried about everything.
In the middle.
Yeah.
You tried it.
I was the mad scientist.
We backed him, by the way. He says, oh, everyone got down on me. Not us. We were behind you.
You're probably the only one.